Elon Musk, what are the 3 cryptocurrency he is holding and why? Why is he not selling these 3? I'm going to get into all of that in this video. Plus, is Europe trying to ban Bitcoin? What would this mean? What are they trying to specifically ban and why? And why do I not think this actually makes any sense whatsoever? Battle of the layer 2s, Immutable X and Polygon. We're jumping into some bullish and bearish takes on some altcoins. And Yoga Labs owns now 40% of the top 11 NFT collections globally. That and more in today's Crypto News Daily. I'm your host, Ben Simpson from Collective Shift. Please give me a like and subscribe and a comment if you are enjoying this 8 to 10 minute wrap up daily. Let's get into it. Elon Musk's tweets. What are your thoughts about probable inflation rate over the next few years? Obviously, in the world right now, inflation rates are continuing to skyrocket and it's getting pretty scary across the board. And we've got this little thread here. Michael Saylor then replied with USD consumer inflation will continue near all-time highs and asset inflation will run at double the rate of consumer inflation. So basically what he's saying here is that the US dollar and fiat currencies will continue to debase and collapse while everything else that's more scarce like Bitcoin, property, etc., will continue to intensify. Now, Elon Musk has come in here and basically given us his advice and the 3 crypto assets he is holding. He's saying here, as a general principle, for those looking for advice, it is generally better to own physical things like a home or a stock in companies that you think make good products than dollars when inflation is high. He still owns and will not sell his Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Dogecoin. Crypto assets, predominantly Bitcoin, in my opinion, is the best hedge against inflation, as there's only going to be a limited supply, 21 million, where in the non-crypto asset world, where it's not programmable money, you're basically leaving up the devices to those people in governments that can do whatever the hell they like. And we had a video come out here recently of Joe Biden basically blaming inflation not on the unprecedented amounts of money printing, but he blamed it on Russia. It's honestly pretty astonishing. So these people in power don't want to admit what's going on. They don't want to blame themselves. They continue to print more and more money, and it's honestly just a political address that they're going on here, and it's actually quite sickening. So for me, even looking at some of the stuff Checkmate's been posting recently, like, it's scary. In a fiat world, the monetary debasement, we have no control over it. We are just letting it up to whoever's in charge to have entire discretionary decision making on how much money they actually print and how much inflation will occur. And all that happens is central banks debase their currencies. They buy bonds, they buy assets. All that money gets basically injected into Wall Street, which pushes up asset prices. All the richer get richer and the poorer get poorer. Like Elon Musk was just saying, you've got to buy hard assets, but some people can't afford it. Dollar cost average into Bitcoin or buy a property. It is expensive out there. We've only got, for most people, a certain amount of additional income to actually inject into these assets, and you need money to live on, right? What we're seeing at the moment from a Bitcoin perspective on the on-chain analytics is that the effective issuance inflation of Bitcoin is around 1.7%. That's the orange line here. And hodlers at the moment are effectively buying at a rate of 20% of the circulating supply per year. In other words, long-term holders are actually buying 11 times the volume of coins being mined, which is huge. This is, super bullish. Hodlers are accumulating 12 times more the issuance of new Bitcoins into production. They are scooping up all those new Bitcoins and the existing Bitcoins at an unbelievable rate, nearly at all-time highs. And we're basically saying here that we don't know when the bottom will be, but we're more closer to a bottom than we are a top. And we've been discussing a little bit here on the channel that, in the short term, we're going to see price volatility. There's a lot of macro uncertainty, but the fundamentals haven't changed. Bitcoin's still Bitcoin, and all the OGs, all the institutions, all the big guys are still buying. So over the long term, I'm still more bullish than ever. In the short term, we don't know what price is going to do, and that's okay. We just sit, we hold, we DCA, and we don't panic. Now, Europe are looking to try and force proof of work cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin to switch to a more environmentally friendly proof of stake mechanism. This for me is just completely ridiculous. I'm going to show you a chart here that I posted the other day on LinkedIn. So the carbon emissions of Bitcoin compared to other industries. Bitcoin produces less carbon emissions than washing machines. It produces about 5 times less emissions than gold. And yet here we have Europe trying to push through a parliamentary vote to basically limit the use of proof of work cryptocurrencies. Now, they put this out and it got revised because of how much backlash they received on this, but they basically have not said that it's going to be removed altogether. The final decision has not been made. They are saying that if this policy goes through, they will make any proof of work consensus mechanism that's not operating on a small scale to basically change. And this is what Ethereum are trying to do at the moment, but it's difficult, right? How would that work? How would Bitcoin transition away from proof of work? Honestly, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think this bill will go through, and even if it does, it's just stupid in my opinion. Like, again, we're just seeing opportunities of regulation being turned to allowing of new technologies and new financial instruments, but yet here we are again trying to squash this from a nonsense environmental policy thing. Like, it just doesn't make sense in my opinion. Anyway, moving on. US hedge fund Furtree attempts to short Tether. I know there's still a lot of concern, I guess, out there in the market that Tether isn't actually tied or pegged dollar for dollar. And the New York-based hedge fund has just placed a short bet, or they're trying to, and there's been some information research come out recently. A few other hedge funds have tried to do this before, but basically they're coming out and saying, this hedge fund is saying that they think Tether's commercial paper holdings will suffer a significant decline in value thanks to China's ongoing real estate crisis. And this $4 billion hedge fund expects the bet could pay off within the next 12 months. So we'll see how that plays out. Tether currently commands 45% of the total stablecoin market. What would happen if Tether came out and wasn't actually one for one? I think we'd probably see some more short-term price volatility. Immutable X jumps 50% after their $200 million fundraising round. Immutable X is a layer 2 solution on Ethereum, and it's really focusing on trying to be the go-to NFT focused layer 2 scaling solution. We did a research piece on Immutable X recently. Basically, it's an Australian-based company, Robbie and James. They just recently raised $200 million. What they're currently doing is achieving over 9,000 transactions per second using Starkware's ZK rollup and looking to basically be the go-to place for NFTs in games on layer 2. We think it's pretty bullish because there is a huge potential that Immutable X is the backbone of NFTs and gaming on Ethereum. And this early support already and this traction can see significant adoption once they go permissionless. And 20% of the fees on the platform are paid in Immutable X and sent to the reward pool. So the tokenomics of Immutable X is, pretty bullish. It is very competitive, the layer 2 space. We saw Polygon, although Polygon suffered a pretty big network outage recently. I think it was over 11 hours Polygon was down for. Had a lot of social media things come out about Polygon users understood the outage was there, but after 6 hours it wasn't usable. So becoming extremely frustrated on there. So a bit of the wars on the layer 2 at the moment. We think the bullish take for Polygon is that it inherits Ethereum's strong network effects and security, each of which other smart contract platforms are yet to replicate, and they have started to onboard quite a few projects. Although it is an incredibly technical and currently not user-friendly platform, but as we said here, that these technicalities may not matter to the consumer if they're abstracted away. So if you want to jump over there and find out our bullish and bearish take on either 40 plus other crypto assets, you can jump over to collectiveshift.io, go to the assets page. We have a full list of assets and our bullish and bearish take, which you can read there. Moving on, Axie Infinity accounted for nearly 2/3 of the blockchain game NFT transactions of 2020-21. Second and third place were sports platforms on NBA Top Shot, 827 million, and Loot with 242 million. So yeah, this play to earn gaming stuff is really exciting. I mean, it's going to start to take away a lot of the user base from like Call of Duty and your console-based games to platforms where you can really actually make money without actually being a super competitive player. So it's going to be really interesting to see where that goes. And in the NFT space, wrapping up, Lava Labs, this was big news over the weekend. So Lava Labs sold their CryptoPunks NFT IP to the Bored Ape creators. Yuga Labs now own 5 of the 11 top avatar NFT collections by floor price. So under the Yuga Labs, they own Bored Ape Yacht Club, Mutant Ape Yacht Club, Bored Ape Kennel Club, CryptoPunks, and Meebits. And Yuga Labs, they name themselves, they're nerds, and Yuga is the name of a villain in Zelda, and they're trying to build a platform of community and NFTs. Really interesting around this commercial rights of NFT holders and whatnot. There's been a bit of discussion around that. But you can jump over there to that announcement and check that out. That is all for me today. Thank you very much for jumping on. As we mentioned, Elon Musk is holding Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Dogecoin. We won't go into Dogecoin too much today. I'm not personally too much of a fan, but Bitcoin and Ethereum I am holding. As always, you can jump over and see what we're buying and what we're selling in our investments on collectiveshift.io. That is all from me. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Thanks. Bye for now.